Hey friends, welcome back to Thought Life. My name is Brett, and today we're going to be discussing authenticity and how that word is used today and what is meant by it and where it comes from. So, the last time we were together, you remember we talked about hate and hate speech and how that's used today, and the idea that you are the the sum total of who you are is the base instincts and desires that you have, and from that comes the things that you do. And so, if someone disagrees with something you do, that's because they're disagreeing with who you are, and therefore they're hating you. And we talked about the idea that though the things you do come from who you are and are a part of who you are, they are not the total of who you are. And so you can separate the things that you do or that someone does from the person. And so you can still love the person even if you dislike the things that they're doing. And in fact, if you love the person, you may need to point out the ways that they're being harmful to themselves or to others in the things that they're doing. And so it may be very loving to disagree or confront someone about what they're doing, always with respect. And so today, when we talk about authenticity, we're going to kind of hit on that same idea because in today's culture, the idea is that our feelings are the most important thing about us, right? Our feelings come from these base desires or instincts, and they become the most important thing about us. And so expressing them and expressing your feelings is very important in our culture today. And so people believe by expressing their feelings, they're being who they truly are, thus authentic. And so they feel they need to be able to express their feelings no matter what those feelings are, and be able to tell other people how they're feeling, and express them in whatever form that comes in, whether it's through speech or through actions. And so they want to get what's on the inside and how they feel on the outside. And that's them being authentic, being who they truly are. And you see this a lot in discussions when somebody says something maybe disagreeable and they say, hey, I'm just being honest, or I'm just expressing myself, or that's just how I feel, right? And so the idea is the feelings are the most important part about us, and they need to be expressed in order for us to find the good feelings, the happiness. Then the feelings on the inside need to be let out so that everyone knows them, and then we can that will bring us happiness. That will bring us the good feelings. That will bring allow us to be who we truly are, right? And so some of the problems with this way of thinking that we come across is, first of all, feelings don't always reflect fact. So you may feel one thing in the morning when you first wake up, you may feel something else after you've eaten, you may feel something else at work or at home, and you may feel something else before you go to bed. Okay? Feelings aren't always an accurate reflection of reality. So you may feel like someone's disrespecting you. You may feel like someone is being racist. You may feel like someone is not caring for you, okay? But that doesn't always make it true, all right? You may feel that way. It may be a fact that you feel that way, okay? But that might not always be true. You may feel something's unfair, and it might not be true, okay? And the problem is when you make the feelings the most important part about you, your feelings the most important part about you, then when someone says, hey, maybe that's not accurate or not true, then a lot of people feel like that's a personal attack on them because their feelings are a reflection of who they truly are in the deepest part of them. And when you say, hey, that may not be accurate with reality, then you are somehow disrespecting them or not affirming them in their feelings. Because when feelings are the most important part about you, when you express them, then you feel they need to be affirmed. And if you feel like if someone is not affirming your feelings, no matter how true they are or untrue they are, then you feel like that's a personal attack and that someone is coming at you with hatred. Okay? And so when your feelings don't line up with reality, and someone may point that out to you, hopefully kindly and respectfully, people feel like that's an attack on them because, they're just being authentic. They're being who they really are, and you're attacking who they really are by not affirming their feelings. All right, that's the general sentiment today. Now, also, a lot of times when people vent their feelings, or they're being authentic and they say what they really think, and they take what's on the inside and bring it outside, a lot of times that hurts other people's feelings. Okay, so you may be being honest, and we all want to be honest, but by being honest, you may be hurting somebody else's feelings. Okay, so at that point, whose feelings are more important, your feelings or somebody else's feelings that you're contradicting? Okay, and we can say that you're all equally feeling the same feelings, but they may not all line up with reality. Right, and so at what point, whose feelings do we go with, yours or the person who you may be hurting? All right, so when you make feelings the most important thing about somebody, and expressing them the most important thing that you can do, then you may actually be harming each other by hurting each other's feelings, and then harming who they are, and so on, and it continues. Okay, so that's another sort of dilemma we have when you believe feelings are the most important thing about you, and they need to be expressed all the time. Okay, and we sort of cover this up with, well, I'm just being honest, and we take a good virtue and we say, I'm just being honest. But the thing is, and this is sort of an overcorrection from our past generations who kind of downplayed feelings maybe a little too much, and grin and bear it, or just grit your teeth and get through it, suck it up, right? They cast their feelings aside, they suppress them in order to get things done. That's the way they thought, is that we just got to get rid of feelings, and just this sort of stoicism, just grin and bear it, get it done. And so in our generation, we've sort of overcorrected that and said, okay, now we need to give full vent or full bearing to our feelings. We need to realize them, and we need to express them. And if we don't, then we're being oppressed, or we're being, if they're not validated, if they're not affirmed, then we're being attacked. Okay, so we sort of prop feelings up to the highest standard, and expressing them is the highest virtue. And the truth is, though, feelings don't always line up with facts, like we said, and sometimes your feelings bump up against other people's feelings. Okay, Proverbs 29:11 says, the fool gives full vent to his spirit, but a wise man holds it back. So what that means is, sometimes it's better to not say everything you're thinking or feeling. Sometimes it's better to hold it back. There used to be this thing, I know it's archaic, but there used to be this thing called manners. Okay, now some manners were arbitrary, like don't put your elbows on the table. Okay, well, if I'm eating a sloppy cheeseburger or a taco, something that's going to spill all up in my lap, yeah, I kind of want to put my elbows on the table to keep from making a mess all over myself, right? So some are just arbitrary, but manners in general are used to show that you're considering other people. You're thinking outside of yourself, okay? When you say excuse me, when you say God bless you after a sneeze, things like that show that you're aware of other people, okay? Part of manners at one point was being very considerate about what you said to somebody else. Now, you can be honest, but sometimes it's not right to say everything you're thinking, especially if it may hurt somebody else. Or if you have to say something that might hurt somebody else, find a way to say it politely and with respect, okay? There's that old saying that everyone's mother has probably told them, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all, okay? To some degree, that's true. But to some degree, you may have to say something that others might not consider nice, but you can say it respectfully, okay? But you don't always have to tell everybody everything you think, okay? You can use discipline and your capacity to think and rationalize and say, maybe this isn't the best way to say this, or maybe I shouldn't say anything at all, and just sort of hold it in. See, I think and I believe it's wiser to be more concerned about your character than your feelings. Your character is how you interact with people. It's defined as the mental and moral qualities distinctive to an individual. Okay, so the moral qualities, the mental qualities that you have as a person, all right, and the way you develop character is through discipline and through choosing who you want to be, and especially in relationship to other people. I think and I believe we were designed to think outside of ourselves, all right, and all this introspection, to be authentic, all this desire to be authentic, and this desire to vent our feelings, right? That takes a lot of introspection. We're looking inside of ourselves to see how we feel, and then we sort of push that out onto other people, all right, and force them to affirm how we're feeling. And I don't, that's not going to bring you happiness. That's not going to bring you contentment. All that's going to do is cause you to further look inside yourself, cause you to further think about yourself. And we weren't designed to do that. We were designed to look outside ourselves to others to a degree. Obviously, you want to take care of yourself. Obviously, you want to be available, and in a position to help others, so you don't run yourself ragged. Okay, that's not what I'm talking about. But I am talking about looking outside of yourself and developing the character to sense and know other people's needs, and then to act in a way that's best for them to meet those needs. Okay, that I think is being authentic. That is being your true self, because that's how we were designed. We weren't designed to sit there and look and see how we feel and then force others to conform to that. Okay, that's not going to bring you happiness or contentment. That's not going to bring the good feelings. The good feelings are going to come when you look outside yourself, look to others and how you can help them and with their needs. That will bring you actual fulfillment and happiness, because when you help somebody else, you're doing what you're designed to do. You're giving of yourself to them. And guess what? When you do that, it's reciprocal. Oftentimes, people will turn around and give back to you because they realize they've received from you and they want to do something kind for you. And so looking outside of yourself to be kind to others brings reward. It brings self-satisfaction. First of all, you're happy to do that for someone else. When you make that decision to live that way, you become happy to help other people. You're looking outside yourself to them and to get help, to help them and what they can do. And then they turn around to do the same thing for you, and then they're satisfied. And so everyone is taken care of, everyone is satisfied, and it's reciprocated through our society where we're all taking care of each other, we're all loving each other, not forced to do that, but doing it willingly. That's why you develop the character, okay? And that'll bring true fulfillment, and true authenticity, all right? You will be way more authentic if you care for other people, okay? You're not following feelings that are subject to change or bump up against other people's feelings, all right? What you're doing is you're disciplining your mind to control your feelings. It doesn't mean you don't address them. It doesn't mean you don't interact with them and engage them. You do. And that's, it means to be a person means to feel, and that's good, okay? But that's not the primary or sum total of who you are. That's not of primary importance. Primary importance is to have good character where you're caring for others, and then other people of good character will care for you, and that brings true satisfaction and happiness, okay? There are a lot of Bible passages that talk about this. Matthew 20:26, Jesus said, if you would be great, you must be the servant of all. 1 Corinthians 1:3-5, we comfort those with the comfort with which we receive from God. Okay, so we receive comfort from God, we give it to other people. Philippians 2:3, consider others as more important than yourselves. James 1:27 talks about caring for those in need. Okay, so there is certainly a place for your feelings, okay, but they are not of primary importance. Of primary importance is your character, who you are, and deciding who you're going to be, and then deciding to be kind and caring toward other people. And then if we decide to do that, then that will be reciprocated to us, and we will receive what we need when we're giving to others, and they receive what they need, and we are far more satisfied that way than looking inside of ourselves, and we'll become way more authentic. I mean, honest, not brutal honesty, but honesty is a good virtue, and if you care about someone else, you're going to be honest with them, okay? kindly and respectfully, but you're going to be honest with them. And then you'll receive that in return from them, most likely. And when you don't, a person with good character will just will handle it. You may get angry, you can get upset, and that's fine. But that doesn't mean you have to vent at them. That doesn't mean you have to treat other people badly, okay? And it's very interesting. It's worth noting that a lot of people who want to be authentic, and by that they mean tell everybody how they feel all the time, they can be brutally honest with other people, okay? So I feel like you're being a jerk. I feel like you're being racist. I feel like you're being misogynistic. But then when someone does the same thing to them, they get highly upset, okay? When someone says, even without evidence, I feel like you're being a certain way, and then someone comes back and says, well, I feel like you're being a certain way, okay? They get highly upset. How dare you criticize me? You're hurting my feelings. You're attacking me. You're not affirming who I am. You're not affirming my feelings, okay? But when you care about other people more than yourself, when you put them ahead of yourself, and your primary concern, because you have good character, is the care of other people, then you find that when people aren't that way to you, you're better able to handle it. It hurts you less because you're doing the right thing. You're receiving from people who do care about you. You're receiving from God. And when that's the case, then it's a lot easier to handle criticism. You become a lot more confident that you're doing the right thing and in who you are. And it hurts. You're better able to handle the hurt of betrayal or someone seeking to hurt your feelings, just because you're receiving from others, but you're also so focused on them and the care that you can give them that slights on yourself aren't nearly as hard to deal with. And I think that's just the way we're called to live. I think that's the way we're designed to live. And I think it's way more authentic to who we're supposed to be than just following our feelings that may or may not be true, hurting others' feelings in the process, and making that the most important thing about us. I think your character, how you treat others, and how you handle life in a good and positive way is a much more important thing about you than your feelings. Okay, so hopefully this was helpful. Hopefully we can use this to have better dialogue and to love on each other a lot more. I appreciate you watching. Thanks, and we'll see you next time. Love you all.